Hello everybody and Redditors. I wanted to make a video, and before I start this video I'm going to go ahead and address a few comments that I received on the post where I posted on our Filmmakers. Now, I had a few people take this post a little bit too literally by the comment that I made. I built a camera crane for $0. For me it was $0. For those who don't want to believe me, by all means fine, don't believe me, but I'd like to go ahead and say here that this thing was $0. All these parts here, they were roaming around my garage. I can even do a shot of me showing you my workshop over there. But I'd like to say a few things is that everything here came from an old broken Sunpack tripod, a Kenlock very old sturdy tripod, which I'm using as a support and holding up the microphone right now that's connected to the boom pole, which you guys can see in the shot right now. Before I address a few things, everything that you see on this camera crane was found around the house. I did not buy anything. I did not go to the store and get anything. Everything that you see here was around the house that built this crane. I can't clarify enough. In my last camera crane video was a bit more, not the greatest quality, but that one was made also here at home. Was way bigger than this crane, but this one has a bit of a more professional look, and it looks nicer, and it's actually more usable compared to my other crane where it looked really ugly if I used it in a professional setting. So let's go ahead and talk about a few things. Now, first on the post, when I first posted it, I got a lot of downvotes. I'm going to tell you here and right now, I would have not expected it on this thread or any subreddit whatsoever besides a few. Some people actually downvoted me heavily. I noticed I was going to -3 and all that jazz, which is perfectly fine. You have the freedom of speech. Oh, that's a wasp. Oh, it's being shocked. Sorry if you guys have to hear that. So I got heavily downvoted in some portions, so I'm going to give you the information. I'll read it again. So it's two old tripod legs, the weight system, which is right here. I'll go ahead and I can't move it right now. Some people got irritated about yeah, some people really got irritated with about my post. Now what I'm going to say here is don't take it literally, please. It's just me talking about the crane. Now, instead of me going in and blab about it, I'm going to go ahead and get straight to the crane and talk to you guys about it. Alright, I'm back, and here we are now with the crane all set up here. Here I have a nice mounting point, which is a cold shoe rail that's connected to the 3.5. I think, I don't even know what it's exactly called, the tripod thread mount, which was from the previous tripod, which was all assembled from 2 tripods, all of this. And I have this hooked up to that where I can easily go ahead and rest my microphone on here if I needed to, like I did earlier talking to you guys about the other things. Here I have the H4n to check for audio. If I really wanted to, I can go ahead and attach a monitor onto here, which I don't have the money for yet, where I go ahead and talk about, where I go ahead and attach a monitor and able to view the playback of the Nikon D5100. Sadly, I can't record while the monitor is viewing the image from the Nikon D5100 to the monitor. That's why I'm not getting one unless I transition over to Canon, which I'm planning to get one Canon camera only for using an external monitor. These work perfectly fine for what I used for. I've used these for music video, the Nikon D5100. I hacked the firmware onto it. These things do a beautiful job. Don't have any complaints about them. The only complaint is I can't use an external monitor on it when recording in 30 FPS, only in 24 FPS, which is ridiculous. But before I rant off about that, so the few things I modified about this thing is I added a better support. I added weights onto here previously, and the screws snapped and these fell on the ground. The tripod almost fell forward. It was literally a disaster. Ooh, that wire's really dangling. So here I got several weights on the back. This is supporting it. So talking about here, I have the H4n on a cold shoe rail connected to it. I can use an add a monitor and all that fun jazz. This here kind of bends in a little, but it's not really much of a big deal. I don't feel it, breaking or anything of that sort. I could add another support. I could in a bit later, but right now I'm just keeping it like this. I originally had that little thin post. That little thin post that would go on the then here, and I tried putting in a screw, and it just wouldn't hold in the screw. I used the really strong glue to hold it in. It didn't work, so what I went ahead and did is grabbed another piece, chopped it, sanded the bottom, and I went ahead and grabbed the tripod head, mounted it on here, and so far it's been performing really well. I like it. It's way more sturdy. The crane is actually able to support the weight. Before, I used to move around and wobble, and it wasn't really good at all. I wouldn't even trust it at that point if it was doing all that. So I was able to go ahead and do that. Here I can support the Nikon D5100 with an 18-55 lens. If you guys want to go ahead and see that, there's the 18-55 lens for proof, and that supports a DSLR. I do not recommend anything really expensive on this thing. I'm going to be honest with you. Once I can go ahead and find a better way to support this portion down here and lock it in, have a smooth thing, possibly like a gimbal of some sort, and go ahead and have those gliding shots, that won't be happening anytime soon. As for now, I can trust the Nikon D5100 with an 18-55 lens. I cannot trust any cameras I can't really think of putting a Canon 70 on there. I can't see myself putting anything of that. Maybe for like mid-range DSLRs, entry level, like the T3i or the T5i or that camera, or the 3200s. All those, T2i, everything can go on here, and I can feel it can support the weight. I don't have any issues or any problems of me putting that on here. It doesn't really faze me. A few things I can say about this thing is I really need to find a way to prevent this little shake, which only happens when I'm moving this thing around. It kind of wobbles around because there's not that much of a friction down here yet, so I can add a bit more, like another layer of plastic or some sort, so I can give it friction and it won't move around like how it does here. So far, I like this thing. Built it for $0. Now, a Redditor told me that was the exact price on this thing. So the tripod was a Sun Pack, goes for $40, $25 on eBay, $45 at Best Buy. One of my cameramen got it, and he just didn't work out, and it started falling apart, and it broke. So I wanted to make resources of it. This was from the previous camera crane, very strong. So that was the thing that kept it going. This was like $10 at a thrift shop, I think. Really good price. The weights came from my friends. These weights were free, probably like $10 you can find at a store, $10-20 for a couple weights. Whole true rail was around $10. The ball joint was like another $5. This is on Amazon. I can probably post a link to that. Over here, the tripod headed plate also came from a $14 thrift shop tripod, yard sale tripod, and that's the thing that's supporting this camera onto it. Yes, call me crazy. And also the micro, that's pretty much it. There's nothing much else to it. And then these little hose clamps, like $1 each, $2 each here in California. And then we also have, let's see, the screws. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, and a lot of washers. So washers would be like in packs, probably like good $10 invested into screws and washers and these hose clamps. $10-$20, not $10-$20, $10 to $15. That's a rough estimate. So I believe it total around like $60 for this thing, for what it can do. A $60 crane. Now I've seen cranes on eBay, and I kind of see them, and I'm like, well, the thing about it is that I could pay that much money and then pay on top the shipping, which actually add up to $100, because those things are big. And this right here is very portable. I can shrink it in size. I can't do it right now because I have it balanced for the Nikon D5100. I'd like to say thanks to everyone that upvoted the post, gave me positive feedback, and for those who subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing more test videos of this thing. So far, I like this thing so far. It does need a few more tweaks and adjustments to be finalized and for me to use for the wedding that's coming up in 2 more weeks. This is usable for a wedding, and it looks actually professional for a wedding. I don't feel scared when using it, and I don't feel embarrassed when using it compared to my last camera crane. So that's all, you guys. This is Greg from Legacy Productions. Thank you for watching my video, and see you later.